Jake Morris hadn't been on a date in 3 years. Not since his wife passed away. But his neighbor Mrs. Peterson wouldn't stop pestering him about it. "You're still young, Jake. Lily needs to see her father happy again." So here he was, sitting in a booth at Danny's Diner on 5th Street, waiting for someone he'd never met. Mrs. Peterson had set the whole thing up. All she told him was that her name was Vera and that she worked in construction. Jake checked his watch. 7 o'clock exactly. The door chimed. He looked up and his breath caught in his throat. The woman walking toward him wasn't human. She was a draconian. Jake had seen them on the news, of course. Everyone had. They joined the Galactic Council 5 years ago. But seeing one in person was completely different. She was massive. Had to be 7 feet tall, maybe more. Her skin was covered in dark green scales that caught the light like polished stone. Her eyes were pure gold, no whites at all, and they locked onto him with an intensity that made him want to look away. "Jake Morris." Her voice was deep, vibrating through the air. Yeah. That's me." He half stood, awkwardly, then sat back down. Vera slid into the booth across from him. The seat creaked under her weight. She had to be twice his size, maybe 3 times. Her hands, resting on the table, had thick claws instead of fingernails. "Mrs. Peterson speaks highly of you," Vera said. No small talk. No smile. Just direct statement. "Oh. Yeah. She's great." Jake grabbed his water glass, took a sip he didn't need. "I work for the Colonial Engineering Corps. I build infrastructure on frontier worlds." Vera picked up the menu with surprising delicacy. "What do you do?" "I'm a carpenter. Just, regular stuff. Cabinets, furniture, decks." "A builder. Good. Practical work." The waitress came over, did a double take at Vera, but kept her professional smile. "What can I get you folks?" "Coffee. Black," Vera said. "Same," Jake added, even though he'd already had 3 cups today. When the waitress left, Vera leaned forward. "Mrs. Peterson said you have a daughter." "Yeah. Lily. She's 10. What happened to her mother?" Mrs. Peterson mentioned an accident. Jake felt his chest tighten. That's kind of personal for a first date, don't you think?" Vera tilted her head, confused. "How else do we know if we're compatible? Humans are very indirect. We usually, start with smaller stuff. Weather. Movies. That kind of thing. Why would we discuss weather? We both experience it." Jake rubbed his forehead. This was going badly. Vera continued, oblivious. "I led the engineering corps on Titan 7 last year. We built 40 structures in 6 months. The atmospheric pressure there is 7 times Earth standard. 3 of my crew didn't make it. The compression chambers failed during a storm." She said it so casually. Like she was talking about a construction delay, not people dying. "That's terrible," Jake managed. "Yes. But the structures held. 2,000 colonists survived because of our work. That's the job." Jake's coffee arrived. He wrapped both hands around the mug, needing something to hold on to. Vera was still talking. "The hardest part was the methane geysers. They would erupt without warning. We lost 6 excavators before we learned the pattern. My scales protected me, but the human crew had to wear full environmental suits. Inefficient." Every word made Jake more uncomfortable. She was so different. So alien. Those golden eyes never blinked, just stared at him like she was analyzing a blueprint. His phone buzzed. He grabbed it like a lifeline. It was just a spam message, but Vera didn't know that. "Oh no," Jake said, standing up quickly. "It's Lily. She needs me. I have to go." Vera's scales shifted, an expression he couldn't read. "Is she injured?" "No, just, she gets scared at night sometimes. I really need to check on her. The babysitter cannot handle it. She's young. I should go." Jake was already pulling out his wallet, throwing cash on the table. Too much, probably, but he didn't care. Vera stood slowly. "You are leaving." "I'm sorry." "This was?" "I can't." "I'm sorry." He didn't wait for her response. He just walked out of the diner, bells chiming behind him, and practically ran to his truck. His hands shook as he started the engine. What had Mrs. Peterson been thinking? A draconian? They were warriors. Soldiers. They probably ate rocks or something. Those claws. Those eyes. That voice that sounded like rocks grinding together. No. This wasn't going to work. When he got home, Lily was in the living room with Beth, their teenage neighbor who babysat sometimes. They were watching a cartoon. "Mr. Morris? You're back early." Beth looked confused. "Change of plans." "Thanks, Beth. Here's extra for your trouble." After Beth left, Lily rolled her wheelchair over to him. The accident 2 years ago had damaged her spine. She could walk short distances with braces, but the chair was easier most days. "Dad, why are you home? Your date was supposed to be 2 hours." Jake sat heavily on the couch. "It didn't work out, sweetie." Lily's face fell. She'd been so excited. She'd helped him pick out his shirt, told him to smile more, made him promise to have fun. What happened? She was just different. Too different. Different how? Jake looked at his daughter's hopeful face and couldn't tell her the truth. That he'd been scared. That he'd run away like a coward. Just wasn't a good match. These things happen. Lily didn't say anything, but he could see the disappointment in her eyes. She turned her chair around and headed to her room. "Lily." "It's fine, Dad. I'm tired anyway." The door closed behind her with a soft click that somehow felt louder than a slam. Jake sat alone in the living room, wondering if he'd made a terrible mistake. A week passed. Lily barely talked to him. She wasn't angry, which somehow made it worse. She was just disappointed. Every morning she'd eat her cereal in silence, and every night she'd say goodnight without really looking at him. Jake threw himself into work. He had 3 cabinet orders and a deck to refinish. Anything to avoid thinking about golden eyes and the hurt look on his daughter's face. Then came the note from Lily's school. Career Day. They needed parent volunteers to demonstrate different professions. Jake had done it before. Last year he'd shown the kids how to sandwood properly. Easy. Familiar. Safe. He signed up immediately. Career Day was on a Friday. Jake loaded his truck with supplies. Simple stuff. Some pine boards, sandpaper, basic tools. He'd show the kids how to make a small box. 10-year-olds loved that kind of thing. The school gymnasium was buzzing when he arrived. They'd set up stations all around the room. He spotted a firefighter with actual gear, a baker with trays of cookies, and a veterinarian with a very patient golden retriever. Jake found his assigned table and started unpacking. Lily rolled over with 2 of her friends. "Dad's going to show us real carpentry," she announced proudly. Some of the disappointment had faded. She was excited again. "That's so cool," one of her friends said. "My dad just does computer stuff." Jake was arranging his tools when he heard that voice. Deep. Unmistakable. "Good morning, students. My name is Vera, and I build things on other planets." No. No way. He turned slowly. There she was. Same green scales. Same golden eyes. Standing at the front of the gymnasium next to a holographic projector. Their eyes met across the room. Vera's expression didn't change, but something flickered in those golden eyes. Recognition. Maybe surprise. Jake wanted to disappear. "Dad." Lily tugged his sleeve. "You okay?" "Fine. Yeah. Let's get started." But he couldn't focus. Vera's presentation was right in his line of sight. She was showing images of massive structures on alien worlds. Bridges that spanned canyons filled with liquid methane. Habitation domes that could withstand asteroid impacts. Buildings that looked like they belonged in science fiction movies. The kids were mesmerized. Between his own demonstrations, Jake found himself watching too. Vera wasn't just showing pictures. She was explaining the engineering. How you had to account for different gravity. How materials behaved differently in extreme cold or crushing pressure. How one miscalculation could kill everyone depending on your work. She made it sound thrilling. Dangerous. Important. "Mr. Morris." A kid was waving a hand in his face. "You said you'd show us how to use the saw?" "Right. Sorry. Pay attention now. This part's dangerous if you don't respect the tool." The morning session ended. They had a 15-minute break before rotation. Jake was considering hiding in his truck when Lily rolled up to Vera's station. "That was amazing." His daughter's face was glowing. "You really built all those things?" "Yes. With my team." Vera knelt down to Lily's eye level. "You are Jake's daughter. You know my dad?" "Oh no. We met briefly," Vera said carefully. "Cool. Did you see his work? He's really good. He built my whole bedroom set. Even modified my desk so I can reach everything from my chair. Adaptive design. Important skill." Vera looked at the wheelchair, then at the basic carpentry tools on Jake's table. "May I see your hands?" Lily held them out, confused. Vera examined them with those careful claws. "Your grip strength is good, but the tool handles are wrong for you. Standard designs assume average adult male proportions." Vera pulled out a tablet, started sketching with a stylus. "If you angle the handle this way, and add counterweight here, you reduce strain on the wrist. And if we extend the base like this, you gain stability without needing to lean forward." She was drawing faster than Jake had ever seen anyone sketch. Within 2 minutes, she had a complete technical drawing of a modified handsaw. "This would work better for you," Vera said simply. Lily stared at the design. "That's genius. Dad, look at this." Jake had no choice but to come over. He looked at Vera's sketch. It was brilliant. He'd been building things for 15 years and never thought of half these modifications. "It's good," he admitted quietly. "Good." Lily was practically bouncing in her chair. "It's amazing. Could we build this?" "Sure, sweetie. We could try. I can send you the full specifications," Vera offered. She still wasn't looking directly at Jake. "I have experience with adaptive tools. Many species in the Corps cannot use standard human equipment." The bell rang. Kids started flooding back in for the second rotation. "Thank you," Lily called as she rolled back to her friends. Vera stood. She and Jake were suddenly alone in a bubble of awkward silence. "I did not know you would be here," Vera said. "Yeah. Me neither. About you, I mean. Your daughter is impressive. Curious mind. Not limited by physical constraints." "She's the best thing in my life," Jake said, and meant it. Vera nodded slowly. "I understand why you left. I am difficult for humans. My people are not good at your social customs. We are too direct. Too different." Jake felt a stab of guilt. "It wasn't you. I was just frightened." "Yes. I could smell the fear." She said it without judgment, just fact. "You could smell it. Draconians have excellent sensory perception. Your heart rate increased 40%. You began perspiring. Classic fear response." Great. Even his biology had betrayed him. "I'm sorry," Jake said. "I shouldn't have run out like that." Vera tilted her head. "You protected yourself from discomfort. Logical, if not polite." The second session started. Kids surrounded both their stations. Jake demonstrated dovetail joints while Vera showed simulations of structure stress tests. Different worlds. Different skills. But Jake kept glancing over. Watching how gentle Vera was with the kids. How she never talked down to them. How she answered every question with serious consideration, even the silly ones. At the end of the day, Lily was buzzing with energy. "Dad, that was the best career day ever. Did you see the bridge Vera designed on Europa? It flexes with the ice movements. And she said there are 17 different species in the engineering corps, and they all have to learn to work together, and..." She stopped suddenly. Her eyes went wide. "Wait. Dad. When Vera said she met you, was she your date? The one you walked out on?" Jake's stomach dropped. "Lily. Oh my God, Dad. She's awesome. She's like the coolest person I've ever met. And you left." "It was complicated." "What's complicated?" "She builds space stations." "She's different, honey. I wasn't ready for..." "Different." Lily's voice rose. Other parents were looking over. "Dad, I'm different. Should people walk out on me too?" "That's not the same thing." "Isn't it?" Lily turned her wheelchair and headed for the exit. Jake followed, carrying his tools, feeling like the world's worst father. In the parking lot, Lily finally stopped. "You're scared of everything now. Ever since Mom died. You won't try anything new. You won't meet anyone new. You just work and come home and that's it." "I'm protecting us." "No." Lily's voice was firm. "You're hiding. And you made me think it was okay to hide too. But it's not. Vera doesn't hide. She builds things that help people even when it's dangerous. That's brave." She rolled toward their truck. "I really liked her, Dad. She treated me like I was smart. Not like I was broken." Jake loaded his tools in silence. His daughter was right. He knew she was right. And that somehow made everything worse. Jake couldn't sleep that night. Lily's words kept echoing in his head. "You're hiding." She was 10 years old and already braver than him. At 2 in the morning, he sat at his kitchen table with his phone. Vera's contact information was still in the school's parent volunteer group chat. His thumb hovered over her name for a full minute before he finally typed a message. "This is Jake Morris. I owe you an apology. A real one. Not the excuse I gave at the diner." He hit send before he could chicken out. The response came 30 seconds later. Draconians apparently didn't sleep much. Acknowledged. What changed? Jake typed slowly. "My daughter told me I was being a coward. She was right. Your daughter is perceptive. Could we meet? Just to talk. No pressure. I'll buy you coffee and actually stay this time." There was a longer pause. Jake watched the three dots appear and disappear twice. "Tomorrow. 1,400 hours. Same location. Military time. Of course." Jake spent the next day working on a deck repair, but his mind wasn't on it. He nearly cut a board 6 inches too short. Finally, 2 o'clock came. He cleaned up, changed his shirt, and drove to Danny's diner. Vera was already there. Same booth. She had a tablet in front of her with engineering diagrams. "You came," she said as he sat down. "I promised I would. Humans do not always keep promises. This one does." The waitress brought coffee without asking. Jake wrapped his hands around the mug, gathering courage. "I was married for 8 years, he started. "Carol. She was amazing. Made everything brighter, you know? Then there was a drunk driver and she was just gone. Left me with a 6-month-old baby and no idea what I was doing." Vera listened without interrupting. "Then 2 years ago, Lily's accident. Car crash. Different drunk driver. She was in the hospital for 3 months. They said she might never use her legs again." Jake's voice cracked. "I almost lost her too. So yeah, I got scared. Scared of anything that might change our life. Anything that might bring more pain." "And I am change," Vera said. "It wasn't a question. You're a lot of change. But that's not your fault. That's my problem." Vera nodded slowly. "On my world, we have a saying. The mountain does not apologize for its height. The climber chooses whether to ascend." That's pretty good. "I am trying to understand human dating. It is very inefficient. Why do you hide what you want?" Jake almost laughed. "Honestly? I have no idea. We're weird." "Yes. Very weird." Was that humor in her voice? Hard to tell. "But Lily is not weird. She is direct. Like my people. She asked about you all yesterday. Wouldn't stop talking about your designs." Vera's scales shifted in a pattern Jake was starting to recognize as pleasure. She has natural engineering instinct. The way she analyzed the adaptive tool design. She saw the problem and solution simultaneously. She wants to build it. The modified saw you designed. It would be good practice. Jake took a breath. "Would you want to help? I mean, if you're not busy. No pressure. Just. Lily's school has a woodworking competition next month. She could use something like that. And maybe you could show her some of your engineering tricks." Vera was quiet for a long moment. "You want me to work with your daughter? Your most precious thing?" "Yeah. I do. That requires trust." "I know." Vera picked up her coffee, drained it in one gulp that would have burned a human's throat. "Very well. But I have conditions." "Okay. First. No more running away. If you have problems, you speak them. Fair. Second. I work draconian style. Direct. Honest. I will tell Lily when her ideas are wrong. I will not soften truth to protect feelings." Jake hesitated. "As long as you're not mean about it." "I am never mean. Mean is wasteful. I am simply clear." "Okay. Deal. Third. You must also work. I will not do this alone while you watch." Jake smiled. "I'm a carpenter. I don't know how to not work." They shook on it. Vera's hand completely engulfed his. Her scales were warm, smoother than he expected. That Saturday, Vera arrived at Jake's workshop behind the house. She had to duck through the doorway. Lily had been watching out the window and practically flew outside in her wheelchair. "You came." "Dad, she came." "I made commitment," Vera said. Draconians honor commitments. Jake's workshop was his sanctuary. 20 years of accumulated tools, sawdust in every corner, the smell of wood and oil. He built most of the furniture in their house here. Carol's jewelry box. Lily's crib. The casket he couldn't afford to buy. Vera looked around with those analytical golden eyes. Inefficient layout. Your most used tools are on the far wall. You waste steps. Jake bristled. I've had this set up for 15 years. And it has been wrong for 15 years. Lily giggled. She's right, Dad. You're always walking back and forth. Whose side are you on? The side of good engineering, Lily declared. They spread out the design on Jake's workbench. Vera had expanded her original sketch into full blueprints. Every measurement, every angle, every stress point calculated. This is more complicated than I thought, Jake admitted. Good design is always complicated. Simple is not the same as easy. Vera pointed with a claw. We start with the handle. Lily, what angle is most comfortable for your wrist? They spent an hour just on grip positioning. Vera had Lily hold different objects, measured angles with tools Jake had never seen before. She explained why human tools cause strain, how slight modifications could reduce effort by 40%. Jake watched his daughter's face light up with understanding. This was what learning should look like. Now we build, Vera announced. They worked through the afternoon. Jake handled the cutting, Vera did the calculations, and Lily assembled pieces under their guidance. It was strange at first. Vera's methods were different from anything Jake had learned. She didn't measure twice and cut once. She measured 6 times, calculated stress factors, then cut with absolute confidence. You do not trust your math, she observed. I trust my experience. Experience without calculation is gambling. Gambling with a 95% success rate. Draconians prefer 100%. But slowly, they found a rhythm. Jake's intuition for wood grain combined with Vera's precise engineering. When Jake suggested a change based on feel, Vera would calculate if it worked. When Vera's math said something should work but looked wrong, Jake would explain why. Lily absorbed everything like a sponge. This is how the core works, Vera said during a water break. 17 species. 17 different approaches. We argue until we find best solution. Do you ever just punch each other? Lily asked. Frequently. But only during recreational hours. Jake couldn't tell if she was joking. By evening, they had the basic frame done. The modified saw was taking shape. It looked strange, asymmetrical, but when Lily tested the grip, her whole face transformed. It fits perfectly. Like it was made for me. Because it was made for me. All tools should fit the user, Vera said. Humans are lazy. They make one size and expect everyone to adapt. Hey, I'm human, Jake protested. Yes. But you are learning. As Vera was leaving, Lily called out, will you come back next week? If your father agrees. Jake nodded. Same time? Acceptable. After Vera drove away in a vehicle that looked way too small for her, Lily turned to Jake. Dad, she's teaching me so much. And she doesn't treat me like I'm fragile. I noticed. Do you like her? Jake thought about it. Really thought about it. Yeah, kiddo. I think I do. Good. Because I already invited her to my birthday party next month. You what? She said she's never been to a human birthday party. I couldn't say no. Jake laughed. He couldn't help it. His daughter was braver than he'd ever be. And maybe that was exactly what he needed. 3 weeks passed like a dream. Every Saturday, Vera came to the workshop. Every Saturday, they built together. The modified saw was finished, then they started on other adaptive tools. A sanding block with adjustable grips. A measuring square with tactile markers. A clamp system Lily could operate one-handed. But it wasn't just about the tools anymore. Vera would stay for dinner. Jake learned she could eat human food but found most of it bland. She preferred her meat nearly raw and loved spicy things that made Jake's eyes water. Lily thought it was hilarious watching her dad struggle with the hot sauce Vera casually poured on everything. They talked about everything. Vera's childhood on her homeworld, where buildings were carved into cliffsides. Jake's grandfather who taught him carpentry. Lily's dreams of maybe becoming an engineer someday. You would be good at it, Vera said seriously. You see problems as puzzles, not obstacles. The colony's Founders Festival was coming up. It happened twice a year, celebrating when the first humans had arrived on New Harmony. There'd be food stalls, games, music, and a big showcase where local craftspeople displayed their work. Lily had entered the youth woodworking competition. Her adaptive workbench was the entry. It was beautiful. Clean lines, perfect joints, and engineering that made it adjustable for different heights and needs. Other kids could use it too. You're going to win, Jake said the night before the festival. We're going to win, Lily corrected. I couldn't have done it without you and Vera. Vera had been invited to the festival too. The Colony Council wanted to show off their diversity. Look, we have a draconian. We're very progressive. Vera had rolled her eyes. They treat me like exotic decoration. Welcome to being different, Lily had said wisely. Festival day was perfect. Clear blue sky, warm sun, the kind of day that made you forget there were pirates and dangers in the outer colonies. The central plaza was packed. Music played from speakers. The smell of grilled food filled the air. Jake set up Lily's workbench in the competition area. Other entries surrounded them. Some were good. None were as innovative as Lily's. Vera arrived around noon. She dressed up, sort of. A formal vest thing that Jake guessed was draconian business wear. Kids stared. Parents whispered. But Vera ignored them, heading straight for Lily's display. Excellent presentation. You angled it to catch the light. Makes the wood grain visible. Thanks. The judges come by in an hour. I'm so nervous. Nervousness is energy. Use it. They wandered the festival together. Jake bought them all fried dough, which Vera examined like it was an alien artifact before trying it. This is 90% air. That's what makes it good, Lily explained. They were watching a puppet show when the siren started. At first, Jake thought it was a test. The colony ran drills every month. But the tone was wrong. This was the emergency signal. Everyone froze for half a second. Then chaos erupted. Raiders. Pirates. Everyone to the shelters. People started running. Parents grabbed children. Vendors abandoned their stalls. Jake's combat training from his military days kicked in. He grabbed Lily's wheelchair. Dad, what's happening? Pirates. We need to move. Now. They headed for the nearest shelter, 3 blocks away. But the streets were clogged with panicking people. Jake looked up and saw 3 ships descending. Small, fast, armed. Pirate cruisers. They landed in the plaza they just left. Ramps dropped. Armed figures poured out. Move faster. Jake pushed Lily's chair as fast as he dared. Vera was beside them, her golden eyes scanning everything. The shelter is compromised, she said calmly. Too many people. Bottleneck. Then where? An explosion cut him off. One of the pirate ships had fired on a building. Smoke and debris filled the air. Screaming intensified. This way. Vera took charge. She led them down a side street, away from the crowds. My vehicle. Armored. We can secure inside. They were 2 blocks away when 3 pirates cut them off. Humans, wearing mismatched armor and carrying plasma rifles. Their leader grinned, showing metal teeth. Well. A cripple, a carpenter, and a lizard. Easy pickings. Jake stepped in front of Lily. Leave us alone. We don't have anything valuable. Everything's valuable, friend. Now hand over the kid. Young ones fetch good prices on the rim stations. Ice filled Jake's veins. Over his dead body. I will give you one chance to leave, Vera said. Her voice had changed. Deeper. Colder. Dangerous. The pirate laughed. Gonna do what, lizard? You're outnumbered and we got. Vera moved. Jake had seen combat footage. He'd been in firefights himself during his service. But he'd never seen anything like this. 1 second Vera was standing still. The next, she was a green blur. She covered 15 feet in a heartbeat. Her clawed hand struck the leader's rifle, snapping it in half. Her tail whipped around, taking out another pirate's legs. The third one got off a shot, but Vera had already moved. The plasma bolt scorched the ground where she'd been. Vera's roar split the air. It wasn't human. It was primal. Ancient. The sound of apex predators from a world where everything was trying to kill you. She grabbed the third pirate by his armor and threw him. Actually threw him. He sailed 20 feet and crashed into a wall. The leader pulled a knife. Stupid. Vera caught his wrist, twisted, and the knife clattered away. But she didn't break his arm. She could have. Jake saw the restraint in her movement. She was holding back. Run, Vera growled. Or next time, I do not stop. The pirates ran. More explosions sounded from the plaza. More screaming. This wasn't a quick raid. This was serious. Lily, stay behind me, Jake ordered. He looked around, found a piece of metal debris. Not much, but better than nothing. My vehicle is 3 minutes away, Vera said. We will not make it. Too many pirates between here and there. The community center, Jake said suddenly. 2 blocks south. It's built like a bunker. Old military surplus construction. Can we defend it? If we have to. They moved fast. Vera took point, Jake pushed Lily. Every shadow looked like a threat. They passed bodies. Colonists who hadn't made it. Jake tried to shield Lily's eyes, but she'd already seen. The community center's doors were locked. Jake kicked them. Nothing. Vera grabbed the handles and pulled. Metal screamed. The doors bent, then ripped free. Inefficient locking mechanism, she muttered. Inside was dark. Emergency lights cast red shadows. The main hall was empty but would be exposed if pirates found them. Upstairs, Jake said. Storage room. Only one entrance. We can barricade it. They climbed the stairs. Lily's chair wouldn't fit, so Vera simply picked her up, chair and all, and carried both like they weighed nothing. The storage room was perfect. Narrow door, thick walls, and full of supplies. Jake immediately started stacking boxes against the door. Vera helped. Moving furniture Jake would need 3 people to lift. Lily, get in the corner. Stay low. Dad, I can help. You help by staying safe. Outside, they heard more explosions. Closer now. Boots running in the street. Shouting in languages Jake didn't recognize. Then boots on the stairs. Someone's inside. Check every room. Jake and Vera looked at each other. The barricade would slow them down. Maybe. Vera positioned herself by the door. When they breach, take Lily and run. I'm not leaving you. Jake. She looked at him with those golden eyes. Lily needs her father. That is not negotiable. And she needs people who don't give up. The door exploded inward. The barricade held for 3 seconds. Then pirates poured through the gap. Vera met them head-on. What happened next was beautiful and terrible. Vera fought like a hurricane given form. Every movement precise. Every strike calculated. She didn't just fight, she controlled the entire space. Pirates couldn't coordinate. There wasn't room. Vera made sure of it. But there were too many. Jake saw one slip past. Heading for Lily. He didn't think. Just reacted. Swung his metal pipe, caught the pirate across the helmet. The guy went down. Another came at Jake. He blocked, struck, fought with everything his old combat training remembered. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't elegant like Vera. But it worked. Lily screamed. Dad, behind you. Jake spun. Another pirate, rifle raised. This was it. Then Lily's workbench hit the pirate in the legs. She grabbed it. Used it as a battering ram. The adaptive wheels made it mobile. She'd weaponized her own creation. The pirate stumbled. Jake didn't give him time to recover. Vera's roar filled the room again. Jake looked up to see her standing over 4 unconscious pirates. She had burn marks on her scales. Green blood dripped from a cut on her arm. But she was standing. And the pirates were retreating. Sirens wailed outside. Different ones. Colony Defense Forces. About damn time. Vera slumped against the wall. Is Lily harmed? I'm okay, Lily called out. Are you okay? Minor damage. We'll heal. Jake went to Vera. The cut on her arm was deep. You're hurt. Superficial. I have experienced worse. You saved us. We saved each other. That is what family does. The word hung in the air. Family. Outside, the sounds of fighting faded. The colony defense forces were winning. It was over. Jake sat down hard, adrenaline leaving him shaky. Lily rolled over, wrapped her arms around him. They were all alive. All 3 of them. The aftermath of the raid lasted 3 days. The colony was in lockdown while security forces swept every building. 12 colonists had died. 37 injured. The pirates had been after supplies and weapons, but mostly they just wanted to cause chaos and grab whatever they could sell. Jake, Lily, and Vera had given their statements to colony security at least 5 times. Each time, the officers looked at Vera with new respect. Word had spread fast about the Draconian who'd held off 8 pirates single-handedly. Vera's arm was bandaged. Draconian medicine worked faster than human stuff, but she still needed time to heal. She'd refused to go to the hospital, saying other people needed the beds more. The community center had taken damage, but Lily's workbench had survived. Somehow, that felt important. Like a symbol that they could build things that lasted, even when everything else fell apart. On the 4th day, The colony held a memorial service in the rebuilt plaza. Mayor Chen stood at a podium, talking about resilience and community. Jake stood with Lily and Vera near the back. His daughter held both their hands. When the mayor opened the floor for people to speak, Jake surprised himself by stepping forward. "I'm not good at public speaking," he started. His voice shook a little. "But I need to say something. 4 weeks ago, I met Vera for the first time. And I ran away. Literally walked out on her because I was scared. Scared of someone different. Someone I didn't understand." He saw Vera's golden eyes watching him, unreadable. "I was wrong. Not just wrong, I was a coward. Because when the pirates came, this woman I'd rejected didn't hesitate. She protected my daughter. She protected me. She fought for a colony that hasn't always welcomed her, for people who stare and whisper when she walks by." People in the crowd had the decency to look ashamed. Vera showed me what real strength looks like. It's not about being the same. It's not about being comfortable. It's about standing up when things get hard. It's about building bridges instead of walls. Jake's voice steadied. "My daughter already knew that. She's 10 and she's braver than I'll ever be. She didn't see scales or claws. She saw someone amazing. And she was right." He looked directly at Vera. "Thank you. For everything. I'm sorry it took a crisis for me to figure out what Lily knew all along." Jake stepped down. His hands were shaking. Lily squeezed his fingers. Then Vera moved to the podium. She had to lower the microphone significantly. "Humans are strange," she began. Some nervous laughter rippled through the crowd. "You apologize constantly. You hide your feelings. You make everything complicated when simple would work better." Mayor Chen looked worried about where this was going. "But I have learned something in my time here. Humans have a gift my people do not. You build communities. Not just structures, communities. You take broken things and fix them. You take different pieces and make them fit together." Vera's gaze swept the crowd. "When I first came to New Harmony, I was here to consult on the water treatment facility. A job. Nothing more. I planned to finish and leave. But then I met Jake and Lily. They taught me that building is not just about engineering. It is about connection." She paused. "During the attack, I did not fight alone. Jake fought beside me. Lily fought beside me. We protected each other. That is what strong structures do. They distribute weight. They support each other. No single beam carries everything." Vera looked down at Lily. "This young human taught me more about engineering in 4 weeks than I learned in 10 years of formal education. She taught me that adaptive design is not about fixing what is broken. It is about recognizing that everyone has different strengths, different needs, and building accordingly." She straightened up. "I am grateful to be part of this community, and I will help rebuild. That is what builders do." The crowd applauded. Real applause, not polite courtesy clapping. After the service, people actually approached Vera. Thanked her. Asked questions about her work. Invited her to community events. Jake watched his isolated, scary dragon lady become, just Vera. A person. A neighbor. Mrs. Peterson found them near the food tables. "Jake Morris, I told you she was perfect for you. You could have warned me she was 7 feet tall and covered in scales. Would you have gone?" "Probably not." "Exactly. Sometimes you need to jump first and figure out the landing later." That evening, after Lily was asleep, Jake and Vera sat on his back porch. The workshop was visible from there, lights still on inside. They'd been working on repairs to Lily's competition pieces. "The judging is next week," Vera said. "They postponed it after the attack. She's going to win. That workbench is incredible. We built it together. You did most of the design work. But you understood the wood. I cannot work wood like you do. My claws are too large, too clumsy for delicate work." Jake looked at her claws. They'd held off armed pirates. They'd also carefully sanded a handle smooth enough for his daughter's small hands. Nothing clumsy about them. Vera's scales shifted in that pattern Jake now recognized as a smile. Or the closest thing Draconians had to one. "I have a proposal," Vera said. "The colony needs rebuilding. Much of it. And they need it done quickly, before another attack. Okay? I have been asked to oversee the reconstruction. Design better defenses. Stronger structures. But I need local workers who understand human needs and human materials." Jake waited. "I need a partner. Someone who knows carpentry. Someone who can work with me, even when we disagree. Someone brave enough to tell me when my math is wrong and I need to trust feel instead. You want me to work with you? I want to build things with you. Important things. Things that protect people. Jake's mind raced. His own business would have to be put on hold. But this was bigger. This was building something that mattered. What about Lily? She comes to job sites. She learns. She helps design. This is education you cannot get in school. Jake laughed. You've thought this through. I always think things through. You should know this about me by now. And what about us? Are we partners? Friends? Something else? Vera tilted her head. What do you want us to be? I don't know. I've never dated a draconian before. I don't know the rules. Then we make new rules. Draconian human hybrid rules. Such as complete honesty. No running away. If there are problems, we discuss them immediately. No passive aggression. I can do that. And Lily's opinion matters. If she is unhappy, we stop. Lily thinks you're the coolest person alive. I don't think that's an issue. Vera's golden eyes caught the moonlight. And what do you think, Jake Morris? Jake took a breath. I think you're scary. And amazing. And completely different from anyone I've ever met. And I don't want to imagine my life without you in it anymore. That is acceptable. Just acceptable? I am draconian. We do not do romantic speeches. But I will say this, building with you makes me happy. Working with Lily makes me happy. Being in your strange, complicated human family makes me happy. So we're doing this? Really doing this? We are already doing it. We have been for weeks. We are simply acknowledging it now. Jake laughed. She was right. They'd already become something without naming it. A month later, Lily stood on stage at the rescheduled competition. Her adaptive workbench sat in the spotlight. The judges had spent 20 minutes examining it, testing every feature, asking detailed questions. First place. Unanimous decision. Lily accepted the trophy with a speech she'd practiced 100 times. I want to thank two people. My dad, who taught me that working with your hands means putting your heart into things. And Vera, who taught me that different doesn't mean wrong, it means seeing solutions other people miss. She held up the trophy. This isn't just my prize. It belongs to everyone who helped me. Because the best things aren't built alone. They are built together. The crowd erupted in applause. Backstage, Jake hugged his daughter tight. I'm so proud of you. We did it, Dad. All three of us. Vera knelt down. You earned this, Lily. Your design. Your work. Your vision. But I couldn't have done it without my team. Later that week, construction began on the new Community Defense Center. Jake and Vera's first official project together. The design was revolutionary, combining human architectural traditions with draconian engineering principles. It would serve as a shelter, a meeting hall, and a symbol. Different species. Different approaches. One structure. On the wall, they mounted a plaque. Lily had designed it in her woodworking class. Built by the community. For the community. Stronger together. Jake stood back, looking at the foundation they'd poured. Vera beside him, Lily between them. You know, Jake said, a year ago, if someone told me I'd be dating a dragon lady and building defensive structures with her, I'd have said they were crazy. And now? Vera asked. Now I'd say they weren't thinking big enough. Lily laughed. Dad made a joke. Vera, did you hear that? He's getting better at those. Improvement is possible for all species, Vera said solemnly. But her scales shifted in that almost smile. They stood there as the sun set over New Harmony. A carpenter, a dragon, and a girl with a dream. Different. Strange. Perfect. Building something that would last.